Peace, wholeness, and divine blessings. I am the Fifth Force Oracle, Moon Goddess Ambrosia, and I am here to share the cosmic oracle reading of evolution for the collective on this plasma. And so I am definitely thankful and excited to share the oracle reading for today because you'll see in just a second here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into it. Definitely, before I start, though, I do want to give thanks and gratitude to all of you, M.I.M.E.C, Synchronistic Hueman, the M.I.M.E.C Priesthood, and Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. And all of those that just are taking the time and really supporting and contributing to the mission that we are all cultivating together. I definitely appreciate us operating in with the similar goals or having the same goal in mind. So I definitely wanted to shout out all of you, and specifically High Priestess, my odds, Brother Aqil, Neb Taharka, Baba Wanik, and I'm just so thankful to be able to engage with them and all of you throughout my journey. So much love, much love and gratitude. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Again, we are activating the mindset of us being synchronized. We are living expressions of this divine synergy in motion, like where our life force is the divine essence of who we are in this physical form. And so, as we go through our journey, go through our life experiences, we have this beautiful opportunity to remember what our divine purpose is and consciously create it so that we can fulfill our soul's mission in this experience. And so, in this oracle reading, I would love for us to focus on remembering what our divine purpose is. Getting into the mindset of knowing and remembering what we are here to actually do. So therefore, we will be moving into, operating consciously throughout our day and being intentional about creating that. And so that is my intention for us in this oracle reading, is to be in that mindset, be in that part of this mindset. And so I invite you all to join me in reading your personal galactic signature, as we are going to state that um, while speaking it out loud slowly, you can even pace yourself with it. Uh, if I go faster or slower, just go at your own pace. Don't worry about how I may be saying it. Like, really flow at your own pace with saying your affirmation so that you can get the downloads and the insights that you are meant to receive on this plasma. Okay. And so as we read it together, we're going to allow ourselves to come into um, resonance with our unity, being in this collective harmony space. And so we're going to begin by stating, as a living expression of, and then you're going to say your kin number, your kin name, and your galactic affirmation. All right, so let's go ahead. Please join me as I state mine. As a living expression of kin 181, the red crystal dragon, I dedicate in order to nurture, universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe. And Ashayo. Ooh, that felt good. O'Shea, that felt so good. Mm, mm, mm. Universalizing being, guided by the power of space. That's the part that stood out for me. All right, y'all. So, yes, the Destiny Kin Oracle that you see here, or that we will be going over, is based on the Law of Times, of the Law of Time Oracle Board, which you will see here on the right. And it provides us with a fifth dimensional template for all of the for the destiny oracles of all 20 archetypes. And this serves as a meditative tool. It also serves as a cosmic compass, as I like to call it, as we connect with the kin of the plasma, and then also be able to uh, keep ourselves in alignment with our natural cycles, our personal natural cycles, along with the natural cycles of the universe. And so this oracle helps us to sustain our cosmic synergy as multidimensional beings. So that way we keep all of these aspects of ourselves aligned and connected to each other and the cosmos, spaces around us, the energy flowing around us. And so with that, we can take a closer look at the oracle layout for the kin of this plasma, which is kin 94, the white electric wizard. And so if you look on the left, you can be able to see where the white wizard sits on this oracle board. And again, this is the basic template for the white wizard. So therefore, all of the white wizards will have the yellow seed in the mental body, the blue hand in the emotional body, and the red serpent in the physical body. And when you're looking on the left, you will see that the box above it is blank. And that is because the archetype that sits there is determined by the galactic tone. So when we look here on the right, the galactic tone that we are on for this plasma is the electric tone, which determines that we have the white mirror that's sitting in the spirit guide's position. And so the spirit guide is the GPS, the emotional body is the gas in the car, the mental body is like us looking at a map now, or processing, which path we want to take on this map. And then the physical body represents like what's helping us to actually move and take and navigate in our journey. So it supports us. So this is like the physical car that we in, our physical body, our internal and physical world, our internal and external um aspects of our physical world. And so essentially that is how this oracle uh, template helps us to keep all of our aspects together as multidimensional beings. And so when we look at where we currently are within the Zokin, we are in the yellow human wave spell. I look at the wave spells like missions. So our mission in this wave spell is to tap into the power of our free will and using our wisdom to influence ourselves, to influence the way that we are targeting our awareness of how we are meant to bloom or flower or grow and take ourselves and our lives and this collective experience to the next level. And so with us being here on Kin 94, the White Electric Wizard, this is the third kin within this wave spell that's helping us or that's guiding us and supporting us in making this or fulfilling this mission. And so when we look at the breakdown of it, because every part of the name holds significance, like everything, like I guarantee you, it's something significant about every word that you see when it comes to this. And so let's talk about it. So the white is just like in with the heptads. I got some things I did not update on here. My apologies. So the white is talking about how when we operate in like being unpretentious, or uh in the law of time they say being humble, or having that humility to refine the way that we uh or I'll say this, having that unpretentious mindset when it comes to us meditating. And it's where we get to let go of any egoic attachments to how we may have or may be perceiving the knowledge that we do receive. And so it's like being open minded to learning more, being open minded to gaining new clarity. Okay, so then when we pair it with the archetype of the wizards, this is the power of timelessness that enchants the receptivity. So by us being open minded, and also operating in that timelessness space, or like the timelessness is operating outside of time. So it's like not being too concerned about or being feeling the pressure of time when it comes to getting new clarity and insights, because that helps us to actually receive it, because we won't be feeling distracted by it, right? So when we are receptive, that helps us to, again, drop the ego and be more receptive to new clarity. And then when we, so that's the creative power of the white wizard, essentially. So when we now pair it with the vibration or that galactic tone of the electric tone is where we activate the service. Um, we activate this, activating the insights that we receive to serve our purpose. And that helps to create a bond. It helps to put the whole picture together. It helps us to connect also with the insights that we receive. And so I have our remix version of the affirmation for us to read. And so I invite you all to join me in reading it. And what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to state it using you. So for yourself, you can say I, but I am going to say you, because we want to get into the practice of um, speaking to ourselves, speaking to others, and then also speaking to all of us as a collective. So let's go ahead and read this affirmation. So you activate your free will in order to enchant your flowering by bonding with your receptivity. You seal your expressed output of timelessness with the electric tone of service. You are guided by the power of divine endlessness. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe, y'all. And so, yes, let's get into this a little bit more here about what the affirmation is talking about, or some insights that I received about what this means. So, in the first two lines, it says, it talks about activating our free will to enchant the flowering by bonding our receptivity. So what this means is the first step is to activate our free will. That's recognizing our power to grow, to change, and to create new experiences consciously. Being intentional with using our wisdom when it comes to making the decisions about how we are choosing to grow. And so when we do that, new shifts begin to unravel or unfold, just like if we plant a seed in the soil, the shell of the seed starts to like shed, or the plant inside starts to germinate. It starts to bloom. It comes out its shell. And that is the same process for us when we activate that free will to grow. We have to nurture it, put some water on it, put it in the soil. It's the same thing with a plant. We have to do with our minds as well. And so as we do that, this strengthens our connections to the actual insights that we receive as we're going through that process of growing. It helps us to it helps us as we um hold on one moment. I'm trying to get my train of thoughts back here. So yeah, it helps. So when we allow ourselves to be receptive, that means to stay open to receiving new clarity, to receiving new guidance, and being able to see the clarity of how all of the insights and things are linked together or connected. And so that helps us to bond with being receptive, and also bond the insights that we do receive. Okay, so that is that portion. Also, by doing that, the next step is locking into those insights. So that means like being rooted in how we express our divine essence beyond time. So when we receive these insights, it's more about us operating in that alignment, and not so much of the constraints of time. And so that helps us to navigate a lot better when it comes to making decisions about the actions we want to take, and um, being mindful of what we're actually seeking to create. And so, as we allow the infinite wisdom to guide us, to guide the natural order of the steps that we need to, or we have the opportunity to express, um, it just really puts us in a position to follow our natural growth pattern. It helps us to express our essence, or our creative essence, in the most beneficial way, to really serve, our flowering process. So again, it's just like with planting the seed. When we when we follow the instructions of what's necessary for the seed to grow, that's what's going to help the seed grow. Just a fun joke about it, like the what helps the seed to grow best is giving it water, right? So we know that that's our wisdom, that we are tapping into, right? So it makes more sense to give it water than to try to give it some Kool-Aid, or giving it something that we know doesn't support it to grow. So essentially that, this is talking about, using our wisdom in the most beneficial way to serve us in growing. And so this also leads us to some questions here. How will you choose to refine yourself and create new experiences? What are the next steps being revealed to you through the insights that you are receiving? These are two great questions that can help us continue to hold the focus as we move into the oracle reading and move throughout the rest of our plasma. And so my one line statement for us to remember what the focus is for today is I am bonding my receptivity to enchant and activate my free will of flowering. So you are bonding your receptivity to enchant and activate your free will of flowering. Therefore, we all are bonding our receptivity to enchant and activate our free will of flowering. So Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe Yo. Now let's get into the oracle reading so we can see how we're going to carry out these steps here. So remember that the prime or the central frequency that we're tapping into with this is that electric tone, activating the service so that we can bond with the receptivity, right? So this invites us to ask the question, how can I best serve? So all throughout this plasma, you can even ask yourself, how can I best serve? How can I best serve? Because that's also helping you to enchant that receptivity to gain the insight. With that, we know what our focus is to bond our receptivity. So we can look at the archetype in the spirit guide, which we have the white electric mirror that's showing us the direction to move in, with us enchanting it. So as we ask ourselves, how can I best serve? We are being receptive or allowing ourselves to be receptive to reflecting on the order of steps that we need to take. So how can I best serve? We're like, okay, this is our goal. This is the direction we want to move in. We're focusing on growing, um, allowing ourselves to bloom or whatever it is that we are creating in our experience or focusing on. It could be your personal growth. It could be, making, I don't know. It could be related to your dreams and your endeavors. Whatever it is still all a part of that personal growth. And so, we're enchanting ourselves to be receptive to the order of steps that we need to take based on what we are seeking to bloom. So then when we look at the physical body, we have the red spectral serpent that's going to support us in navigating in this physical experience. It all starts internally first to support what goes on externally around us. So in order to see the order of steps, we have to tap in with our life force. Our life force is what animates us to have this experience, this in the physical anyways. So as we connect and bond with our instincts, be receptive to our instincts, that means also trusting our instincts. We also start to see the different steps. We start to see the steps unravel. We start gaining new insights about what type of abundance we're seeking to create. The vision starts to form in our mind when we allow ourselves to trust our instincts. Okay. So then when we look down at the emotional body, we have the blue spectral hand. The blue spectral hand, or I'll say the emotional body, is the energy or the gas. Okay, I'll say it's like the gas part of us. That's the energy, the emotions, that we sense and feel about what we are seeking to accomplish. And I'm speaking about the accomplishment because this is the blue spectral hand, which is encouraging us to know what it is that we want to accomplish. So as we continue to trust our instincts, staying mindful of, what we're seeking to flower or bloom, that's showing us the different steps of, or different, yeah, it's showing us what we need to accomplish. Yeah, period. It shows us what we need to accomplish. It helps us to start seeing what the next steps are, right? So then it also encourages us to release, to let go of the things that do not serve us and that do not serve what we're seeking to accomplish. Also, go through any healing necessary. Not to say that that we always got to heal from something, but sometimes we may notice that we're operating outside of, like, we're not operating in full alignment with ourselves. That's how I look at healing. Like, we may need to remind ourselves and do some things to support us in being in our whole state of being. So when I hear healing, I think about operating in our whole state. So this is encouraging us to transform ourselves internally to be in that whole state of being, and then continue to focus on what we are seeking to accomplish. And that whole state of being can also show up in the way that we're navigating. Are we being our whole, like, our full version of ourselves? Are we operating in that fashion? And so that helps to, purify the way that we're moving about our experience. Okay. So then when we look at the mental body the is where the challenge sits. Um, However, just because it's a challenge does not mean that it's bad. Because the mental body also helps to strengthen us to focus on overcoming the challenge. So therefore, we can see and experience what the gift is. So every challenge I love thinking about challenges as learning opportunities. Now, adding on that, these learning opportunities are the gift that helps us to now be more strong mentally when it comes to different challenges. It kind of remind me of, like, when we work out or something. It's a challenge sometimes to work out. However, the benefits of working out will, be the fruits of our labor, right? So it's the same thing with any challenge. We can't be afraid of different challenges that we may encounter. And so with that, the archetype that sits here is the yellow electric seed, which is encouraging us to be mentally strong, to focus on the goals that we see, that we're seeking to grow in or to accomplish when it comes to us flowering, because it's talking about the fruits of our labor, being able to focus on what the goal is, essentially, and bond with our awareness, or be mindful and stay in our awareness of exactly that, what we're seeking to grow and bloom. Okay. And so this essentially, when we allow ourselves to connect with each aspect of this destiny oracle and put it all together, this helps us to produce it as an art form. When I say art, I'm thinking of also practice. We practice our flowering now. We practice the art of it. And that helps to beautify the elegance, helps us to move more gracefully in transforming ourselves. Just like a plant, like when a plant bloom, like, that is so beautiful. Like, it has its own process. It's growing gracefully. Like, it's not, the seed is not sitting in there like, oh my gosh, I gotta hurry up and grow, I gotta grow. It's gracefully growing at its own pace. So it's the same thing for us when we tap into this destiny oracle, or allow it to give us those insights, or it helps us to perfect our own inner transformation. It helps us to generate our own energy. Um, and also cultivated so that we endure the process of being magical beings in itself. Because again, we embody the divine synergy within us. Now it's up to us to consciously and intentionally use our multidimensional what I'm gonna say, technology or tools to now present ourselves or go through that transformation process to show up the way that we feel and know ourselves to be on the inside, right? And so that is the magic, taking something intangible and making it real. So all this stuff about us inside of us that we cannot see, touch, you know what I'm saying? We're making it real. That is our magic. That what makes us, or that's what I don't want to say that's what makes us magical beings, but it's true. That's what makes us divine as we operate from this human form. We get the opportunity to create. Okay, so before I keep going on and on about this, I'm going to go ahead and conclude it and say that completes the oracle reading for us on this plasma. And so with that, I definitely love, 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 and appreciate all of you that supports the mission, that are contributing to the mission in any form or fashion. Like I definitely appreciate it. And so much love and gratitude to all of you. Feel free to reach out to me to receive your own personal oracle reading, your synchronized navigation map, and also ask any questions that you may have as well. And so I will have this posted on YouTube at 10:10 a.m. And so with that, I love y'all. I appreciate you. And like cash, I like Ken. May that you enjoy your creation every single moment of now. Focus and allow yourself to be receptive to blooming and growing today on this plasma. And with that, I shall talk to you all later. Stay peace.